Yeah, we could work on all that. All right, so we are now live, and it should be coming up on the broadcast shortly. And here we go. There we go. All right, everybody, welcome, MACOBAS.
Hello, hello. I don't know if everyone can hear me. Hopefully I'm audible.
All right, make sure if you have the YouTube stream up that you have that one muted because.
Oh, I must have done something wrong. Do I close?
Oh, nope, not that one. The YouTube stream where you have the chat popped out on. Don't close it. Just mute it. You can keep it playing because it's going to play back our voices.
Okay, the answer was I don't close that one.
Correct.
All right. If everyone can hear me, then I'm good. I'll keep the chat box up so I can see if people are asking any questions. Hopefully there's no weird echoes or anything like that.
Ooh. Let's see here. All right, I am in the AoE thresh.
All right, I will probably go the wrong way instead of going. No, there we go. I chose the right way this time. I always end up going the wrong way around and going as far as I can possibly go. All right, so yeah, here we are. This is the player test realm. I don't know.
MACOBAS.
Yes.
Do you pull up your YouTube for a minute?
I am in. This is the YouTube link I have up. I don't know if I have another one going.
You do, because there's an echo and mine's muted.
So I'm going to close this. And how's that now? Is that better?
Hold on, let me see. I think let's see. Test.
Yeah, I mean it'll probably be on my end if it's on anyone's end.
I think we're good.
Cool. Yeah, so I can't see the chat now, but I closed that because I'm guessing that was what was causing some weird echo.
Yeah, you could have kept it up, but there's like a little speaker button there.
I'll pull it up afterwards, or you can just prompt me if you have it up.
Yeah, I have it up.
Cool.
All right, so far we have Scribbles is here, Christie's is here, and Christian is here. Christian says, "What's up?"
Not much. It's been a long day and a wild ride, but here we are. Yeah, I don't know if you want me to start by talking about like where we are right now, or give some background about myself and whatever people want to hear.
Absolutely.
I guess traditionally everyone has always started with like who they are on the stream, so, and what our history with Underlight has been. So I'm MACOBAS in Discord, which is my very unoriginal first initial and last name. I play the character who's generally referred to as Tari in Underlight. Full name is Tariag. Although I don't really play very much anymore for the past, I'd say like on and off since 2002 or so. I've been a tester for Lyra on Underlight, and then a developer for Lyra on Underlight, and then a developer for Reclamation. And then Underlight closed and the Reclamation project went bust, and then kind of everything went quiet until Wish approached me about 4.5 years ago with his idea to bring Underlight back after Shades of Truth closed down. And we were trying to bring back the old server builds and all the old environments. So, I kind of live in dev world. I don't play very much just because my time zone doesn't allow for it generally. Although I'm in the States for another week or so.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And where we are right now is the player test realm, which we can kind of talk about what that is.
Now, it is important to understand that the players can download the player test build and can join us in the stream and help us demonstrate some of the things that we're going to demonstrate today.
Yeah, it's all available for download. I'm going to butcher his online handle, but I'll try. Jor Kyron, really, got this up and running. Completely isolated player test environment for that. That is a complete clone of our prod environment, but is useful for testing. So like we have a pretty meaty patch coming up, but it involves a really significant number of changes, and in order to really get exhaustive testing done, I think it's important that we have players test it exhaustively. We can test, internally what we've worked on, but the only meaningful way to have something tested is to have someone use it in the real world. So this is what that's meant to replicate almost exactly. So, the player test realm is a clone of probably about a week ago from production, although it is not the game environment. It is an out-of-character environment and is not meant to be used for anything but testing.
And the 3 rules still apply while in this environment.
Except for the in-character rule. The assumption is that here we're not going to be in character.
The goal is try to break stuff. We got to try to find the bugs, try to break stuff.
Exactly. Feel free to collapse others, have fights, make sure that everything seems like it's working normally. But yes, everything would still apply. No harassment. The same privacy policies all apply. It's part of the Koiware umbrella of servers.
Mm-hmm. All right. So basically, you and Jor have been hard at work along with some of the other people on your team.
Yeah,
not only getting this up and running, but getting over some of the changes that we're going to be going over today. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So, Jor is the sysadmin side of things, along with, I think his handle is Bearclaw, who kind of, the two of them handle more the sysadmin side, and then myself and Sidus, I guess is how he'd pronounce it, are the dev side of things. He recently rejoined us, and some of his features will also be showing off, and everyone really kind of busted their butts on this, which is it's kind of nice to see a 25-year-old or 20-plus-year-old client start to look and feel a little bit more modern. If we can't do the graphics, at least we can make the UI feel a little more natural.
Well, we may be getting some more new players. So I've been actually interacting with another game that's about as old as Underlight is, but it's not an RPG. It's more of a text-based, click-based game. And a lot of them used to play Underlight back in the M-Player days. And they were very shocked to hear that after 20-plus years, Underlight was still alive.
Yeah.
Some of them have been checking it out. And these new builds that are coming along that you guys are putting so much time into and effort into to give us these new arts and these new abilities, giving more power to the players. Those are going to be important things that these new players are going to be interested in.
Yeah, and especially it's important. It's not just running. We are actively trying to add content all the time, and I think one of the things, and we'll mention this a few times, I'm sure, as we go, and even on some of the features that you've seen in past patches and features that we'll show today. Keep in mind that they can be expanded, and to keep them in mind, for people to post suggestions about, because a lot of the features that you're going to see in this, I'll try to call them out specifically where there was directly a result of players pointing out this is a bug or this is something we want, and then we just went and did it because they asked for it. And I think that's important to highlight.
I think flight is one of them, isn't it? That's something that players were asking for and Wish really pushed for.
Well, flight was more flight was always something that kind of existed as a weird sort of bug in certain areas of the game. I don't think anyone really pushed for it because no one really thought that it should be possible. And then I decided that I would like to try to turn off gravity in the code and see what happened. And it turns out that it's possible. It makes for some strange sorts of effects, but kind of fun ones. And we can show those off again. But like I think you guys did that last time. But it's always fun to fly. So
it's always fun to fly. It's going to be interesting to see how that changes the battle concept in the game too.
Yeah, and I think it'll be nice to see what players think about using flight for. And we don't have to focus too much on it, but like one of the cool things is like think about maybe Dreamseer should have like a super jump effect, like every random 10% chance of when they jump they fly for 2 seconds. Like that'd be kind of neat.
That'd be kind of cool at all. Yeah.
Like I think just like to get people's like gears turning, like to think about what can we do with all of these random features right now that GMs have, but like how can I incorporate them into an art or into an effect or something?
Right.
All
right. Well, the ball's yours, buddy. So go ahead and share your client screen, and let's get this tour started.
So am I not sharing now? I thought
no. You're presented but not sharing.
I am presented but not sharing.
I presented you so that you stay on the screen.
Okay.
Whatever you do.
So here we are. I'm assuming everyone can now see my screen. And this is the PTR build that we're looking at right now. So this is what will be live after everyone has said, okay, all these features are working and are bug-free. And the first thing that you'll see is that the client no longer takes up your entire desktop. Like it's just a window. It's just a window on your screen that you can drag around, that you can minimize, that you can maximize. I know it seems like a very boring feature, but for me personally, like especially when I'm on a multiple monitor setup, it's a huge quality of life change. Like you can keep Underlight running. The same 15-minute timeout applies. Like if you're idle and you don't do anything for 15 minutes, you'll get auto logged out. But it's nice to be able to drag it around. If you're gen sitting or something and you just want to kind of tab around, it felt like it was time for for Underlight to be in the 21st century and for it to run in a window. Yeah.
Also nice to know that we can sneak in an hour at work now and kind of have it minimized.
I wasn't gonna mention that because I definitely would do that. And especially when you have multiple monitors, you keep it on the monitor that your boss can't see. And now you can do that in a window and minimize and maximize at will. And that was kind of it's been a long time coming, and I'm glad that.
Now, can you minimize and maximize it from this window, or do you have to go into something else to do it and then reload it?
You can minimize. So, like, this window is the Underlight window that I'm in right now, and I'm dragging it around, and I can go here, and that's just the minimize button, and I can minimize it, and now it's in my taskbar. And if I bring it back up, it comes back up.
Now, can we still make it full screen?
Yes. So, just to demonstrate, there is. So I didn't want to put it back in. I was resistant, but everyone in Discord kept saying, well, what if we want to full screen it? So there is now a full screen option on the front screen. And if I click on that, it will, after a minute or so, full screen. So that still is a thing as well. You can full scrin. You can.
You have to log out and re-log in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a setting that you set on your login screen. You can either full screen it or run it windowed. By default, it runs windowed.
Hey, Disco. Okay, so Starling's saying awesome work on the window screen.
Thank you. Oh, I was supposed to meet you back in Thresh, right?
And she thinks the jumping thing should be with Fate Senders. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I know she's a wannabe Soulmaster, so maybe it should be for Soulmasters.
No, she's a Fate Sender.
And I know. She just wishes she was a Soulmaster. Wrong way around. Okay, so the other big change in making it windowed, the other thing that I wanted to do to make it modern was to make it feel like every other chat client you see. So, if I pulled up Discord or Slack or any IRC client, you would usually see your chat here, and then you would have a thing that you can type in at the bottom. So the talk dialog is gone. Like if I hit T now, it'll just bring my cursor into the bottom where it's flashing right now, and I can type and I can say hi there. And just like any other IRC client, you have slash commands. So if I type in /help, it'll say, /me sends an emote. So I can say, smiles. I can shout. The other thing that this was a direct feature request from a couple of players was to know what their latency was to the server. You can ping the server /ping, and it'll just tell you approximately 35 milliseconds to the server. So to make sure that you're not storming or that your connection's okay to the server, you can always ping it. Don't go crazy with it, but it's a good test. People used to just evoke random and see if it came back, and now you don't have to spam people with randoms.
So I know that this question is going to be asked by some of my newer players that are already playing, because they've made some mentions about the training area. Are we able to update the training area to reflect some of these new changes, like, for instance, the chat?
So we have not done so yet, and we really need to. My dream for the training area, personally, is to turn it off completely and make a live training area.
Which we could do with Lady Silver's roleplay Newly Awakened area.
That's exactly right. I would like for it to be in here where I'm walking to right now, which is the Welcome Center.
Let me follow. Hold on.
I'll wait up here for you. I never make that jump.
Probably went the wrong way, of course.
And then choose the staircase that's slightly longer, not the Library of Dreams staircase.
Come on, Edwards. Come join us. Yeah, I'm actually surprised we didn't do stairs here.
Yeah. You'll have to
roleplay it.
You'll have to make that. You'll have to make that jump. So if you're role playing a character who's like, in their 90s, your character probably will not be able to make that jump.
I think by game terms, all of our characters should be in their 90s.
Yeah.
I think that this would make a great live training area, and I think that this room should be designated as the only room where you can communicate out of character with new players.
Yeah.
To kind of give them in the ropes of things. So basically, they'd be interacting live with live players and being trained live on how to better role play and set up their keyboards and all that fun jazz.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to demonstrate where I think that we can use this for a training area is trip items, which made their way in the previous patch, but I don't think we ever talked about them. Obviously, it's a GM function, but this is kind of how I would think we would do a, the training area. You'd come in here and you'd make an item that, looked like let's say we'll just choose like, HC flag. And then I would, describe it, and I would say, I have to give it charges. Your chat window.
Stormy is one of my old players I got back, I think, through Facebook. So just remember that, players and potential returning players. We do have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we do have a store. Disco Way is here, by the way, in the chat.
Hello. Disco Way, the one who would also be known as Ducky.
Yep, Ducky.
So one of the things that that was added in a previous patch, where I think that we could turn the Welcome Center into it, is if you cut close to this like broken flagpole right now, it will show at the bottom of your screen, like it will trip that description automatically. So you can imagine if you strategically place little markers that can't be picked up in the room that are trip items, then it will show you the text of your screen when you get close to it. And it will say, like, literally just your chat window has a little text input at the bottom that has /commands, for example.
I like that.
I think it would be a bit of work to redo the entire training area to do that. But at the same time, it makes us flexible for when I, or Citus or Jor or Bearclaw decides to go and change the entire client. We don't have to go in and rebuild the training area at the same time. You can just rechange a couple of items. That would be that's kind of my goal. I think we have a ways to go because, definitely it would be nice to put, say, maybe have in the welcome center, have like a no damage room where we put an infant or something like that. So you can try your hand at hunting without, taking damage or without being collapsed.
Yeah. Is there a way to like maybe use one of those ghost type ones like they have up in
yeah, but those aren't.
whatchamacallit?
Yeah, exactly. You could in the museum, but the thing is like those aren't real. Like those aren't things you can hunt. You can't actually try your hand at hunting those. That's just like an ornament, the same way that that flagpole is.
Gotcha. I like this idea because this actually, and it's like we can add like little messages to the portal on the inside and outside. So like when you right click on it, it says, this is the training area. This is the only room where you will be out of character in order to learn how to play the game better, blah, blah, blah. Yep. And on this side, you would put, you're about to enter the live version of the game. Once you leave this portal, all things must remain in character at all times, blah, blah, blah. Something
exactly. And you would have it as you get closer, and you would kind of guide them along the room.
Yep.
But since we're here, and since I put down an item about the chat window, we may as well continue talking about some of the small changes in there. And one of them is, again, similar to how Discord or Slack or an IRC client works, you get tab completion of names now. So if I type in /whisper, and if I type nothing and I just hit my tab key, it will just start guessing the names in order. And I can it'll keep cycling through. If I hit S.
It's alphabetical?
It is the order of the who list, which is not alphabetical, I believe. If I hit S, for example, then it will only complete a name that starts with S. If we had several S names in here, it would only cycle through the S names. And similarly, like if I just did that, it would, it's going to auto-complete whatever I type in. So you'll notice also when I type in, this, it'll quote the name because your name has a space. It needs to know that I'm whispering to that. So tab completion will be really useful there. But then I can say, I can say hi and then hit M again, and now it won't quote your name. So if I so tab completion works anywhere in the text window. So it'll be really nice for when you're typing a message and people have long names or hard to type names or hard to spell names. You can just hit a letter and tab, and it will go ahead and just auto complete it for you.
Yes, I got it. Yep, you whispered to me.
Yep. So that's there are all the slash commands that you'd expect would work. So /shout, shouts, and /me emotes. Same as always. The key bindings still work, by the way. So if I hit E, it'll just type in /me for me. So I just hit E, and it just automatically focused me into the text window and put in /me. If I double click on a name, it'll just put it in there. So all of the shortcuts that existed in the old client still exist. It's just that there's no pop-up screen that comes up now. It's just that little window at the bottom that you can type into.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I like your idea for the this is really great, actually. This chat feature is going to save a lot of time when it comes to spelling out people's names and all that stuff.
Yeah, and like, so by the way, like on this is something that I think I'd like players to think about as well. Although different people disagreed with me about whether we should do this or not. I think it would be really cool to have like an evoke /command. So like be able to say /evoke and then, free action, and then it would evoke it.
I actually like that too. That would be basically like tying your key bindings into words.
Yeah. Now different people disagree. They said, like they don't really think that, because then the next logical step is to have like kind of a scripting language in Underlight, which I could see why you don't want to go down that route. But to kind of have macros of like, if you wanted to have like a command for gatekeepers that would automatically, free action you, resist fear you, and then evoke reflect on yourself. but I could see why you might not want to have that. Why it could be seen as maybe somewhat out of character to have like these macros. I'm on the fence about it. It could be done with work. Obviously, it's not in this patch, but it could be done. I don't know what stance other modern MMOs take on it. I think that some do support macros and some don't.
I mean, we already have macros in the game, or we did.
Well, not chat macros. Although that is chat macros are a thing that right now I've removed because I removed the text, the talk dialogue, and because we have a windowed client, you can always copy and paste from anywhere into here. Like this is just something you can copy and paste into. But in talking to internally, like on the Koiware Slack, like some people did say, like, well, macros should still be a thing. So it wouldn't be hard to pull back in. Like all that code is still there. It's just a matter of adding the key bindings. Like so, Alt1, Alt2, Alt3, etc. should just fill in this part of the screen.
Now, this might be a stupid question, but curious minds are probably going to want to know: what is the character limit still the same? Is it
yes.
what is it? 244?
I don't remember if it's 256 or 512. It's one or the other, and yes, it's the same as what it was in the talk dialogue.
Okay.
So that has not changed, but it's just been made a little easier to talk. So, and if you forget your commands, you can just type in again /help, and hopefully the description in here is meaningful enough that it's clear. So yeah, I guess Stormy is testing the limit of characters. I'm not going to go and count them, so you can just let me know what that limit is.
I don't even know what he just wrote.
That's like default lorem ipsum text is just some default random fake Latin.
Okay.
It's not. It's generally used as filler text. Okay.
It's nice to know Stormy's still a unique guy.
So that's the what's it called? That's the talk screen and the windowed client, which are pretty big changes. The other one that players won't have, but I think is neat for GMs to use and for players to see.
Let me pause you for a quick second. Can you center your window to the center of your screen?
Sure can.
And is it a touch screen? Can you enlarge that?
You cannot, and the window size is fixed. So whenever you start your client as, oh, you're saying to magnify it?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. There's a magnification tool. Yeah, magnifier.
Let's see if that works.
Oh my lord, that's quite large. Jeez, is there a way to?
Oh, yep, there we go. Now you can definitely see it.
Yeah, I can see now, but I can't really control anything anymore. I'd like it at 150%, but
oh yeah, click on the box and type in 150. Where
oh really? Oh jeez, hold on. Oh my lord, no, it's not a text box. Let me. Is there a way to just turn this off for a second? Oh man. You know what? I can possibly change. I don't know. Let me try one other thing.
I just want to make it easier to read because I think you're about to go into the color stuff, and I want people to be able to see that.
Oh, you know what? So what I'll do there is that's not a GM tool, but I will do that now. So this actually, so we mentioned that the ping command is something that people mentioned as something they very much wanted, and that yeah, it's so 400. It'll be a bit more than 493, by the way, Stormy. It's 512 minus the length, the maximum length of a character name, which is 16 characters. So 512 minus 16, whatever that ends up being, 496, I guess. If my no, I'm sorry, 495. There's a for any of the nerds out there, there's a null byte at the end.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, let's do the colors, and I'll magnify my screen when I do that. This is something that came up on the forums where people said, why can we change the colors of chat, text, and message and backgrounds, but I can't change the color when someone whispers to me? And it was a very much requested feature and is now here. So I'm going to change the color of whispers to light purple. I will bring up the magnifier tool. And if you whisper to me now.
All right, and it's still /W, right?
/whisper. Or you can just double click on my name.
Oh, that's right. Test.
There. So now it shows up in purple. So whispers will now show up in purple, or whatever color you select. You can select your whisper color. And the other thing that you'll notice, although it's subtle, because you're probably looking at this part of my screen and not this part of my screen, but when I'm whispered to and my Underlight client is not focused, it will flash the taskbar. So same as when you get a message in any other chat program. If someone messages you directly and you're minimized, it will flash until you bring it back up.
Cool.
Here, I'm going to stop that. I can't really see anything when that's going. So that's kind of a that was definitely a quality of life change that was requested quite a bit. Hold on a second. What else was there? So that's the change to that's the windowing change. The chat box color change, and what else was there? And the whisper color change. Another kind of neat change that GMs will have the ability to do right now. I went to a different plane just to demonstrate it. Is GMs can now do global announces. So,
among other things.
Among other things, which I don't doesn't have to be talked about, but this one is important. Like now, and this can kind of guide RPs, if you will, for people to think about going forward, because this kind of came as a result of someone asking about a house art called, I don't remember what it was called. Like, if you're being attacked, a ruler might want to send a dream-wide announcement, calling all members of their house to come back.
Like a gong or something, yeah. That's
exactly right. So, that sort of feature was very much requested. So now that ability exists. Right now, I haven't built out the house alert.
So, system. Like, if a house was being attacked and we didn't happen to have knowingly have a GM in game, we could send in like an RP report that says, we are now using our house's spirit to contact all of our members simultaneously in the city. And a GM could pop in and kind of do like a global announcement.
Exactly. Until that a change to have an art that does that is vetted, the GMs could go ahead and do that for you. Gotcha. And then same as flight, same as, ornaments that exist right now. But I think that some limited use of it as a house alert for rulers to have that costs, I don't know, 1,000 strength or something might be a kind of useful little feature to have as an art.
Gotcha.
Let me go back to where we were. So I'm just going to exit and I'll meet you back in the Welcome Center because I never save coordinates.
Yeah, you and me both. Last stream I sent like 2 people to the unknown thinking I was bringing them to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure they were not pleased.
They were displeased.
Yeah. There we go. Nope.
But I apologized to them and worked it out with them. Okay. Oh, so Stormy asked a good question. He's in game. He said he wonders if it works. She wonders if it works if you're deafened. So does this break through deafen?
Yes.
Okay. So there you go, Storm. It breaks through deafen.
Yeah, it's a global announcement. It's not speech.
So it's more like a feeling. The dream is speaking to you.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay.
Let's talk about. Oh, this is a big change. This is not now not clients change, but gameplay change. This might make some soul masters a little sad, but we really tried to do it with balancing things in mind. Let's talk about the change to poison. And now, as someone whose primary,
be careful, Raven XR's back.
As someone whose primary is also a soul master, this one is a bit. It's sensitive. I get it, but from this build on, meditation will now counteract poison to a degree, and by that I mean, right now,
not fully. It's important to understand it's not a full. It's not an anti.
It's not antidote. It is not antidote. Antidote is still the only thing that will remove poison immediately. What meditation will do now is, if you're meditating and you're poisoned at the same time, you won't take damage from poison, and as you meditate, it will slowly chip away at the remaining amount of time that poison has. So at a rate of 20 seconds per plat of meditation per tick. So I think meditation ticks every 5 seconds. And if you're wearing 20 minutes of poison and you have a level 50 meditation, so you're chipping away at 100 seconds of poison every 5 seconds that you meditate. So just work out the math there, and you'll get to, it will take something like probably about 50 seconds or so to chip away at the full duration of poison. I just made that up. I'm probably off on my math, by the way. But it will take some amount of time, some non-trivial amount of time to stand still. So you couldn't do it in the middle of a battle. Like you couldn't, if chacks were flying everywhere and people were flaming and blasts were going off, you would not be able to do it. But if you ran into a sanctuary and stood still for 2 minutes, yeah, you could wear away at the poison that you're wearing, which is pretty much, which was the intention. Like, we didn't want to make it so that poison loses its effectiveness, but we did want to make it so that if someone poisons you 3 times, you're not walking around for an hour and a half with poison.
And let me try to give another perspective to it too. It's in keeping with how the other arts wear down as well, because FA, RF, protection, they all wear down when you're hit with the counters of those, such as stagger, paralyze, scare, curse, etc. It chips away at the duration of your arts. You're aware of that, right? I think you just got booted. Can everybody else still hear me? Might have to re-invite him. Oh, he's still here in the room. All right, so it's going to be a while for him to get back. But anyways, all right, so basically it's in keeping with how our other arts get chipped away at. So it kind of makes sense that poison can be chipped away. Not cured per se, but chipped away. Oh, that's because he's presented. Hold on. We're going to have to wait for him to get back. Oh, there we go. He got booted. All right, so let me resend him the link. And by the way, if any of the players wish to come on panel, you can send me a message in Discord, and I will send you an invite. Just remember that you have to be respectful while you're on the panel, please. All right, yeah, I think he actually stormed. All right, so I'm back on until he gets back here. Let's see here, where am I? Here we go. I think it's a good change, Chris. I mean, it kind of makes sense, with the rest of the arts that lose their duration based on what attacks you're receiving, and I really think it's going to help out the overall scheme of how battles work, because it really makes you rethink how you're gonna do your battle and where you're gonna do it. So I resent MACOBAS the link. We'll see if he can get back on. If any players have the player client, put a 1 in the chat if you have the player training realm client. Oh, you know you want on a panel, Stormy. I see you over there whistling all innocent like. Oh, wait. Got a message here. Let's see what we got going on. Ah, your net died. Ah. See here, I think that should do that. All right, there we go. Download the player test realm at this. Yep, perfect. So, while we're having this brief intermission, Scribs, do you want to talk a little bit about these player cards that you've been working on? I think that's pretty fascinating. I think the players might want to hear a little bit about that. All right. So what do you guys think of the changes so far? Yeah, I'm going to avoid slow mode from now on. Yeah, I saw it. I saw the ones that you released so far. They were really, really awesome. I mean, much better than I expected. So, very impressed, and kudos to you for that. Done a wonderful job. So we got to give MACOBAS a few while he works on his internet. He should be back in a few minutes. Yeah. Oh, there is no need to think that you've worked very hard on many of the marketing projects. So I am very happy to have you on my team. You've made this such a pleasant, rewarding experience for me. So thank you. I like the window changed for certain things. I'm glad that he added and left in the ability to make it full screen because I still enjoy Underlight that way. But at times when, if I'm traveling or something like that, and I'm using my Wi-Fi or whatever, a windowed mode would be useful. Who else is in here? Susan. Yeah. I'm reading Discord and it's just I can't pronounce this. Citus? I don't know. Citus. I guess I'm gonna go with Citus. I'll probably butcher it, but whatever. Well, let me go beat up on Stormy Edwards for a little bit. Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Oh, great craftsmanship here. I like this stuff. Oh, we're glad you came back too, Storm. What would you say, since you've been back, Stormy, has been some of the biggest changes that you've seen in Underlight? I mean, besides the room that we're standing in.
Hello.
Hey, he's back.
Oh man. So like some background. Like I'm in the States and I'm in my parents' house alone. They are actually where I live, 6,000 miles away, and I'll be joining them next week. But they neglected to tell me that like they did some weird stuff with the router that I set up for them like 3 years ago. So I had to go remember how I wired like the house just now and do some surgery to get the internet back up and running because some weird thing with their cable internet. Anyway, I'm here.
I think Drama has joined us as well. So Drama's
here. Hey, what's going on, man?
At this time, we can no longer speak poorly of Popeye's chicken.
Oh, so fun fact: when I was in, I've been in El Paso. I made sure I took a picture of every Popeyes we drove by, and I have like 4 pictures on my phone that I was like meaning to send to you just to be ridiculous. They are there. They're there right now because I don't see them, living in Tel Aviv, but they are very present along with Taco Cabana in El Paso. All right, let me bring back my.
Stormy wanted to let you know because I asked him a question. I said, "What is some of the big changes that you've seen in Underlight since you've returned?" Her comment was lots of awesome interactive GMs, positive community, the streams, which is probably what attracted him, along with our Facebook and Twitter pages. Enjoying being able to play and test things. That is a huge thing. The test thing, the test player client.
I really like I said, I have to give a huge shout out to Jor Kyron and Bear Claw and really Jor Kyron here. Like he like cloned our entire production setup to get this up and running, and it's big. I think it will change how we do patches from here on. I mean, it has like he has changed the policy for how we do patches from here on out. Like the player test realm will now be a necessary thing to pass before we patch the client, which it should be. So we don't have, you know, catastrophic patches that may or may not have been my fault 2 months ago. Spoiler alert, they were my fault. So
I like it. It reminds me literally of the beta days that we had in M Player. Before the game went live. It was like a really fun environment. Anything went. Everybody was able to do everything, and then it kind of gave you some insight on what to expect once the game went live.
Yeah. But please don't play this to the exclusion of playing Underlight. Play Underlight and then break everything in the test build like at 4 in the morning. That's when you should be in here. Like dedicate your non-sleeping hours.
Yeah.
Let me pull my. Oh, you know what? Are you guys still logged in? I want to demonstrate this. This is actually a big feature for anyone new to the game.
Stormy and I are logged into the training area. I don't know if anybody's logged in outside of that.
No, but you're in the Welcome Center, you're saying?
Yeah, we're still in the Welcome Center.
So I am now going to bring in a new, true newly. I set it up on a dummy test account to test this feature. It's a brand new character that I'm going to walk in. And this is going to be sent to everyone in the game, whether you're in Threshold. If you want to send your character to COD by hitting F6, doesn't matter where you are in game, you're going to get an alert.
Ah, yes, I've just seen it.
Yeah, so a newly awakened dreamer has entered the dream, and that will be sent on every login. It won't be spam, so if I log out and log back in right now, it won't resend it, so it doesn't get sent, every 20 seconds. But until the person is first sphere, there are some other caveats to that. But like this is really something I think really critical because Underlight has a steep learning curve, and if you enter Threshold and no one's in Threshold, but people are in their house. How are they going to know that someone new has entered Threshold? Well, now they will. Like, this is going to be sent to the entire game, and they can come and find you and help you out.
And again, it raises the importance of the houses forming their newly awakened coalition units again, where they have their greeters and mediators and whatnot.
Yeah. People used to sit in Threshold and talk about beliefs, or sit at the house facades and talk about beliefs, and I think that's, I'm hoping that we can bring that back. With these newly alerts that are sent game-wide. And again, this is an example, I think, of us taking that broadcast, that universe broadcast feature that broadcasts to the entire game and using it to add gameplay. So similar to how we were talking about, maybe we could have a house alert art. Like this isn't an art. This is everyone will see it. The server will automatically send it. But I think it's really important and will make a big quality of life difference to someone new to the game. They'll be welcomed to the game immediately.
I like that. That was something I was talking about with marketing too, where we kind of once the player's been around for like a week or two, and then we know that they're going to stick around, we have like a message of the day kind of a thing that kind of with the city welcomes them.
Sure.
Kind of give them a little bit of a I think it's good to give them a little bit of special attention when they're new. Welcome them, kind of make it an inclusion type experience so that they're not feeling like, oh, well, I came in and there was nobody around. Well, now the city is recognizing that you're around.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that will happen until Sphere 1. The assumption is by the time you hit first Sphere, you're probably well integrated you've probably got, you know, your wits about you in game. Now I'm bringing this is my actual player character that I sometimes log in with at, you know, when no one else is logged in, because, you know, I can log in at like 6 a.m. Eastern.
God, I used to torment your character years ago.
Yeah, so my character has a little bit of a seedy history. You know, yeah, definitely was one of the characters that was instrumental in, say, summoning the Daymares back in the Lyra days when Aiden was around. One of the things I did want to show, though, here, this is another quality of life change that came directly from, I don't remember if it was Arnaya who first mentioned it on the forums or Snow Angel, the punchiness, that I call it, of the area effect. What's it called, of the ornaments, like of the torches. So it used to be that if you stood over here or so, you'd get damaged, and I changed it so that now it's really, you got to be on top of it, so you won't get damaged when you're running through Evernight, which was a huge complaint for everyone in Kalantir, because you could not run up Evernight without getting damaged, and if you had sprint on, it became super annoying. So that is now that we've greatly reduced the area effect on torches. There are still some items that have a pretty wide area effect, like the huge flames that you see on Thresh Caves, for example.
Yeah,
they're big, so they're going to have a slightly wider area. The lightning bolts, the very large lightning bolts, will have a slightly wider area. Again, I tried to do it based on more or less the size of the flame, the size of the ornament. So, you know, you wouldn't expect to be damaged if you're close to a torch this size, but if you stand over it, you'd expect to get hit with a little bit of damage. But again, you can now easily avoid it, and that was a quality of life change where I was a little bit too aggressive on the areas in the previous patch, and just from feedback, people were like, "No, it's too much. You gotta lower that down," and so we did.
That's not live yet. That's in the player build.
That's in the player test realm, and it will be live once we go live with this patch. There's also the gosh, I'm trying to remember what else we have here. I have a bunch of patch notes. Oh yeah, here. You guys are still. Let me just locate you.
Yeah, we're still in the newly awakened area.
Well, I'm gonna just walk back.
If I knew the chords, I could probably just summon you here.
You know what I can do? Oh, this will be a nice little demonstration. Hold on.
Oh, you're making your computer mad.
I know I am. Oh, you know why? Because I'm not in the GM build. I'm just a fool. Once again, I fail at underlighting.
You're on Terry, right?
Yeah, let me bring in my GM. Everyone's about to go to the unknown. The entire game is about to be brought into the unknown.
Oh, you have mass summon, don't you?
Yeah,
mass teleport.
Yeah, I'm gonna mass summon everyone. Once I get that key binding, right? Yeah,
that's a new GM build or a new GM tool.
Yeah, if I can get it, but it's not, and I'm making everyone mad with my computer sounds. Okay, I'm failing here, so I'm just gonna meet you guys in Thresh.
What, you're in the where are you, Zenith?
I went to COD, but for some reason, when I'm on my laptop keyboard, I can't get multi-key things to work. I don't know why. Let me locate y'all.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that.
Here we are. All right, so I think we pretty much covered most of the patch notes. There are a few extras. I'm not going to bring in my player mirror, but one of the things that Citus worked on, which came up on the forums as well directly from players, is it would be nice if, when you're bringing in your player mirror, if it could show you how much time you have left. and now it will. So when you're on your player mirror build, if you show XP, it will also show how much time you have left to play.
You know, I don't think we've actually ever covered anything about P mirrors in a live stream, so maybe that should be something that we can cover in another live stream. But real quick, can you touch on how do players earn player mirror time?
Yeah, in fact, and I can bring one in just to show it anyway. May as well. Let me go to bring in a player mirror. So my player mirror's name is Carbag, as opposed to the current existing.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, well, you know.
Lord help us.
Those are random names, aren't they?
That it was a random name, but I saw it come up once, and when I saw that, I kept refreshing the page until it came up again. I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted that one. Let's do that. So the way the player mirror client works is you get you effectively buy player mirror credits with role playing points. So this isn't we're not talking like freemium here where you actually exchange dollars for this. When you role play well, people will award each other role playing points in game, and you can exchange those points for several different effects in game, but one of those is for player mirror time.
Well, let me also touch on one thing with personnel RP points. You can also earn them by writing articles for the Underlight Chronicles paper. And I believe there's one other way to earn them, but I forgot what it was. But anyways, yes. So if you're interested in earning some more RP points to earn PMIR credits, please consider writing for the Underlight Chronicle. There's lots of different sections and lots of different things you can write for. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Right, so your PMIR.
I'm on my PMIR right now. So when I hit the XP button, it says time remaining 44 minutes 35 seconds. So because I logged in with 45 minutes, that counter will keep going down until it goes to 0. This is a Shamblix player mirror, so
well, I turned invulnerability on, and I'm gonna go tangle with you for a little bit.
Okay, I'm in upper basin. I'll start making my way down.
I'll meet you at outside DOL.
You got it. So this is widely considered. When you walk from like upper basin, that's like the longest walk in the game, easily.
You should watch your PMIR time as you do it.
Yeah, you should see just how long this walk.
Who was that?
Me.
Who is that?
This is Stormy or Christy.
Oh, hey, Christy.
Hello.
Hey.
All right, so we're at 43:25.
That's what, 43 minutes and 25 seconds?
Yep. But one of the features of the player mirror build is that if someone goes and collapses me, it deducts from your time remaining. So you get penalized. You get penalized for losing because you don't want to grief players constantly. If they keep collapsing you, then you've utilized your time as a player killer, and you can come back in an irregular character. All right, I'm almost there.
Oh, I'm not going to collapse or anything. I just want to.
No, you should. You should. We can duke it out. One of the other things on the player mirror client, unlike the player client, you'll notice that there is no chat box at the bottom, and the player mirror speech dialogue is still here. So, the player mirror client, you can't talk as a player mirror, because the assumption is these are creatures of chaos. They can't.
It's all gibberish, right? Like predetermined.
It's predetermined Marin phrases. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Can't understand Dreamer or anybody else.
No. You see Dreamer colors, I think, but you can't see who they are.
That's correct. Except that there is, I think, a bug that we may have fixed. I hope we fixed it, where certain arts do reveal it. Unfortunately. But I think we may have fixed that.
Or like Gola evoked free action on you or something like that. Yeah, I gotcha.
Or if you abjure someone or whatever it was.
Right. May not have fixed that. And if not, then we should add a bug ticket for it. Okay, I'm in
All right.
fresh
So
way.
you know, I can't even pronounce that name, but somebody in the chat asked, with the chat changes, do you still have the pop-up windows for like Forge and Scribe and Quest and things like that?
Yes. Yeah, this is. I gotta turn my sound off.
Oh, don't collapse, Paul Stormy.
No, I have to. People wanted to see real-time fighting in Underlight, so.
So slow.
I don't even know how to use any of these things because I've never been a Dream Seer.
Oh wow.
Now, what someone needs to really do is here, if you can go ahead and collapse me. I just want to demonstrate that the time will go down. So that is a horrific scream. I'm not going to say what it sounds like. I'm going to keep it PG here. Well, you need to use stronger missiles there.
Yeah, I've only got like 9 Fate Cinder.
Yeah. So let's look at my time. So it deducted about 5 minutes from me.
Whoa.
Oops, my bad.
What happened?
I think I accidentally collapsed Darby.
So I went down from 39 minutes to 34 minutes.
So you lose about 5.
5 minutes.
Oof.
Um,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Right. So it's to kind of, and I'm going to log out of it, but it's to kind of show, keep it interesting. Like, it's fun to play your player mare for 30-minute, 60-minute bursts. But if, as you're getting collapsed, you'll know that your time is running out. One of the things that you might want to do if you see that your time is running out and you're starting to battle people is, you don't have to lose, but a lot of people tend to say, like, want to get, want to be collapsed. It's always nice to know that you don't give it to someone for free. You try to fight your best, but it is a game, and your player mares don't save their XP anyway. I think that gets reset.
Yeah, I think Chris has a player mare that he plays fairly well. It's really hard to collapse. I know Harkin can probably take him down. Harkin can take pretty much anybody down.
Yeah, well, he's the champion of Underlight.
Yeah, the irony in that.
Let's. I think we've covered pretty much everything. Let's see if I can just do this once. There we go. Dreamquake for the entire dream.
Whoa. Okay.
So that's going to be fun for everyone. That's another, again, as part of the whole dream-wide broadcasting of messages. Again, this is a GM function right now, but should be thought about from like role-playing perspectives from players and how you might integrate it into arts. Also, and think about it when you think of game suggestions specifically, or eventually, and this is up to the RPGMs. I can't speak to that, but maybe something that would be offered for a very large number of prime strength. But I think it would have to be a really significant amount. Like,
I don't know if you evoked it, but it didn't dreamquake anybody.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, just you.
It just dreamquaked me?
Yeah, that's why
I mess it up?
That's why we're laughing at you.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Oh, wait a minute. Does it not stagger GMs? Maybe.
It may. No. Are you guys in Thresh? It shouldn't matter if you're in Thresh.
No, it dreamquaked you and Stormy, but I'm standing still.
It may. No, you know what? It won't apply it to admin accounts. I think it'll always apply it to yourself, just to I think if it applied it to a player, then that's good. That means that I'll have to check, but I believe it doesn't apply it to other GM accounts. Something that I need to verify. But yeah, again, like something to think about from a.
Hold on, do it again. I think maybe because I had invulnerability on. Yeah, so it doesn't affect if you have invulnerability.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, it shouldn't affect you if you have invulnerability on.
Yeah, because as a teaching GM, we don't participate in any of that stuff.
And again, like I can't speak to, you know, as I try, I really don't. You know, I have opinions about, you know, the role playing aspects of the game, but certainly, like, I think it's up to house GMs and really, like, it would have to be. I mean, this is a dream wide thing. It would have to be real expensive, and I think right now you'd want to limit it to just really neat effects. Like a dream wide Dreamquake seems really cool during a chaos eclipse. And something to keep in mind when you're walking around, if all of a sudden you start shaking in your boots, you can have a real Dreamquake now, not just one in one room.
Yeah, it could be something for like major roleplay events, like you know, doing a renovation to a house and something goes wrong and it causes a quake underneath the city or something.
Boom.
Stormy.
And I think that's all she wrote, really.
Stormy and I and a few others. We used to be like the bladers of the city back in the 90s. Can't believe I'm referring to it as the 90s. Rosebud. You're having too much fun.
Yeah. Rosebud was a sled.
Yep.
But yeah, like I think these are kind of the major changes. Obviously, the biggest being windowed client. The poison change, I think, is a really big change, and kind of setting the framework for more changes to be made in the future. Like the Dreamwide raw emotes, the Dreamwide talks, the Dreamwide evokes. Really, a big part of that was just opening up what I would, you know, kind of like opening up the channels to allow messages to be sent to the entire game. So now that messages can be sent to the entire game, as developers and as players and as GMs, we can all think about how would we want to use that feature, you know, as part of the general gameplay. How would we want to use flight as part of the general gameplay? How do we want to rewrite the training area knowing that we have trip items now? Etc. I think that those are things that we should start thinking about, because there's a lot of GM only or GM only features or GM limited features right now that we might want to, you know, not necessarily open up, but certainly maybe integrate somehow into the game. And I think that there's a lot of potential there.
Yep.
I think that's it. Oh, there are a couple of other bug fixes. Invisibility used to stick, and Citus fixed that. So invisibility no longer sticks to you, especially if you're a player mirror. But even just not, there was some bugginess with Invis, and that should be fixed. Hopefully now, Invis should work properly. Oh, Chaos Wells. There was another bug that was brought up by players that Chaos Wells, once you imprisoned or cleansed them, they did not absorb essences anymore or save the fact that they absorbed them, and that's been fixed as well. So there are a couple of bug fixes in here. And all that's listed on the forums for the player test realm.
Yeah, and that's assuming that houses even want to change their primes to do anything anyway, so.
Yep, that's right. But if they do, then
it should work.
Then it will work now. The Chaos Wells will save the number of essences that have been imprisoned into them or banished into them correctly.
Excellent. All right, so we got a few minutes to go. Is there anything you want to add? Any hopes and dreams, future?
I mean, look,
we definitely want to encourage players to try this out and stuff before builds go live, obviously.
Yeah, definitely players should come and test it in here. I think that as a developer, I would like for people, and they do, and players do, but I definitely encourage people to use the game suggestions forum. Like we took things in this patch directly from there, and if a suggestion is good, we'll do it, provided obviously the team has to vote on it, but that's where we source the ideas from the players, not from anywhere else, really. And obviously, like there's a lot left to go on modernizing Underlight. Like it's a 25-year-old game, and it's a work in progress. And I don't know if we're ever going to get to a place where the graphics look modern, but I don't know. Time will tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, I personally want to thank you and the rest of the dev team for all the hard work that they've been doing. So
yeah, and again, like I want
that without you.
And I want to, I did mention like Jor Kyron and Citus and Bearclaw, and I also want to mention Seeker as well, who I didn't bring up, but he's some of the work he's done has made it possible for us to really develop quickly, and it's been huge. Like some of the changes he made that you don't see at all, or just been quality of life changes to developers, so that for me to make changes now, it's much easier. So look, it's a labor of love. Like we're doing this because we want the game to succeed, and so I hope that people will play it and enjoy it. And let's get some new faces in there. And now, if we do see new faces, everyone will know that there's a new player in town. So come and join us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, MACOBAS.
Sure.
And if MACOBAS had a collector card, what would it say on it?
Is it for my character or for me?
It would be for your character.
Oh, man. So I was thinking about that today because I was looking at it and I was like, well, what would I put on there? I would say that my character is like a perennial failure. Like he's a mad scientist, but in general, just a failure. Like tried to summon daymares, but failed miserably. Like it backfired back in the days of Lyra's Underlight. Tried to summon a bunch of mares, and it crashed the Basin of Stars. In fact, we so many dark mares and players showed up that it crashed the entire plane, and was a failure was a failure though. Like as a character, like I was intending to summon Iden back and summon the daymares, and it backfired. Was a master teacher and lost his halo. Was a ruler of GOE and lost his crest. So I tried to role play him as something of a mad scientist, but ultimately a failure. And I think it would say I don't know how better to describe it.
It's a trading card, not a memoir.
I know. So it should just say one word then, failure. Like just epic fail.
I actually think Terry was one of the best played evil characters that I've seen.
Honestly, I didn't know how to do evil, and I still don't. I think I think at this point I don't play enough to keep him evil or good or anything like that. I think the best played evil characters are the ones that are role played as them thinking that they're good. Like I think the Rebel was the best evil character I ever saw, because he came out as being really, really good. Like he thought he was doing good, because no one who's actually evil in real life thinks that, oh, I'm going to go and do terrible things now. They think that what they're doing is good. They believe that what they're doing is right.
That guy was at my trial, at my Halo stripping trial. He was my my defense.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played my lawyer. I was the first player to go before a tribunal of elders and players for a Halo stripping, because in those days, and even today it seems like second nature, but in those days I thought it was ridiculous to make people wait 3 days to turn in a task.
Yep.
So I was granting people tasks at like 24-hour marks, and the elders did not like that.
No. Oh yeah, but like on that topic, you did ask me like what other things that I'd say to the players, and I would say like, keep the suggestions coming also for like drastic changes. Obviously, I can't, we have to vet them and everything has to be taken into account. But like, obviously, some aspects of the game, like when you look at advancement, may not have necessarily aged well. And so like, think about how you might want Underlight to function and talk it out on the game suggestions forums. Like, I think we're all relatively reasonable people. And
well, except for Drama.
God, that guy.
I know, but he's easily bought off with chicken, so
Yeah. I think.
Oh my God, Giovanni's alive! He's alive.
And that's all I've got. I'm on my my third small helping of Glenfiddich, so I think at this point I'm gonna be more or less incomprehensible.
You're fine. Well, thank you so much, Stormy. Thank you for popping on. Drama, thank you for popping on. Thank you to the chat. Remember, guys, to go to the forums, submit your ideas for cards if you want to participate, and remember that there's a newspaper to write articles for, and we have a very open dev team that listens to the players, takes his suggestions. Everything goes through a test conversation phase and all that fun jazz. So y'all have a great night. We'll see you in the dream, okay?
Yeah, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.